Hi, my name is Makasy, and today, as you can see by the title, we're going to be talking about Owens and Undercover by Jun Takahashi. First, just grab a drink, but if you're on the toilet, how's the poop going? Good? If you're watching on the train, I hope I will keep you entertained until your destination. So, this is gonna be a bit of like a TED talk, but like I want to feel like a conversation, so you're gonna participate as well in this video. We're gonna play a game, but just settle in. Let's just put some calming music right now, something serene. Like let's put this one right here. Alright, that one's a bit too happy. Let's go a bit slower. Right here. Perfect, that's the one. Alright, so first, let's play a game. I'm gonna show you 3 jackets, and these 3 jackets are gonna be from Owens, and I want you to guess whether they're from the same season, or whether they're from 3 different seasons, or whether 2 of them is from the same season and 1 of them is from another season. I'm trying to prove a point. So I'm putting the photos up right now. I'm gonna give you like 3-4 seconds just to look around, see what you think. Alright, so did you pick your answer? Are they from the same collection, or are they from 3 different collections, or 2 of them from the same collection and a 3rd one from another collection? I am now putting on the result. Did you get it right? Did you get it wrong? Just keep track of your answer. Let's keep going. So let's look at shoes now. So same concept. Are they from the same season, or are they from 3 different seasons? Are they all from the same season? Are they all 2 from, you know the deal? Let's put the photo up. These are the Geo baskets. They're one of Rick's most well-known pieces. So, just have a look. Dissect it a little bit. Look at the color scheme. Trying to see the material you can. And, guess, are they from 3 different seasons, or are they from the same season? Alright, now I will put up the answer. So, did you get it right? Did you get it wrong? Just keep track of your answer. I'm trying to prove a point. Now let's keep going. So, now we're going to look at Undercover by Jun. Same concept. Let's look at 3 jackets. Okay? Photos up. Just have a look. Take your time. Are they from the same season? Are they from the same year? Are they even from the same designer? Because I could trick you with that. I could put like a third. I could put like a jacket from. I could put it from the Soloist. I could pick one from. What's another brand that is similar to Undercover? Mastermind. I could put a Mastermind as like a decoy. Did you make up your mind? Got your answer? All right. So now I will show you the answer, and let's put that up. Like, they look very drastic, right? But it's from the same designer, just from different years. They're a bit easier to tell apart, right? At least for me anyway. I hope for you as well. Like, they're very easy to tell apart. Like, you can see 3 different themes or 3 different references. Now let's look at 3 hoodies. So photos up. Now, which one do you think is from Undercover? Which one do you think is from Rick? The 3rd option. Do you think that one's from Rick? Excuse me, or do you think that one's from Undercover? Pretty easy to tell, right? Obviously, the 2 left ones, they're from Owens, and the 3rd one, they're from Undercover. Owens, he played around with shapes a bit more than Jun Takahashi, and you can clearly tell. So let's say you remove all the graphic, like you can still tell that the first hoodie is from Owens because of the long beige drawstring. That's one of his signatures. And with the 2nd hoodie, if you are into menswear enough, you can tell that like this is like one of Owens' pieces, because he's known for his asymmetrical zipper nature of it. I mean, he's not the one that made it popular, but like at the moment, like he's been doing this for so long, like you can tell that it's one of his designs. Okay, so if you are anything like me, I hope you're not, but if you're anything like me, when you look at a lot of runway shows, if you look at enough runway shows, you can see the design languages, like design language of that designer, of that brand. Some are a bit harder to pinpoint, but some are a lot easier. By the way, I have this thing, like I think this might be just me, but I prefer to look at photos of runways first over like the actual live stream of the video, because I can safely say that most designers, like their music taste is so different from mine. Most music that they use is so shit. So for me, I look at the runways, I look at the photos first, like look at the detail, and then I look at the video, see how the pieces move, and I put it on mute because I just don't like their music. Okay, you know what? To prove my point further, I'm gonna insert some clip from like, let's say a rap Simmons show. Like, let's put that up. Now let's look at a Margiela show. But do you see what I mean though? Like the music is so far from me. I am into like Hozier. I'm into like old classic songs like from Dean Martin's, Frank Sinatra. A little bit into Louis Capaldi. Like the music taste between me and these designers, they're just on total opposite end of the spectrum. But anyway, I digress. Today we're gonna look at two brands, which I already stated, Rick Owens and Undercover. We're gonna look at some of their runway. We're gonna look at some of their pieces, and we're gonna analyze. So what I want is like what I'm positing in this video is that I generally love all Rick Owens shows. But with me, like with Jun Takahashi Undercover, like it's a hit or miss for me. The Undercover collection, they're so different. And I think most people share the same sentiment as me. There are Undercover collections that are more coveted, and then there are Undercover collection that people just not their taste. And what's beautiful about Undercover is that it's a bit more inviting. It's a bit more open for the general public or like an outsider to come into the Undercover universe. There are multiple aspects to this universe, whereas if you get into Rick Owens, this is what you're gonna see, this is what you're gonna wear. It's not that inviting. Like they have a uniform, and you know, like with all these things that I just stated so far, it kind of made me question, like, why do I love all, if not most, of Rick Owens show? But for Undercover, it's a bit of a hit or miss with me. Like one season I could really love it, another season I'm like, meh. Another season I'm like, that's not it. That's not it for me. Like, could be for some other people, but not it for me. Now that we kind of posited this question, let's talk about it. So, Rick Owens, he designed his runway. It's pretty uniform light. It's just like you know exactly what to expect with a little bit of twist, which I will get into later. But with Jun Takahashi, not so much. So first, we're gonna let's focus on Rick Owens, and then we'll talk about Undercover after. For Spring Summer 2020, the collection was called Dichotomy. Dichotomy is the name of his grandmother's maiden name. And his grandmother was of Mixtec. So Mixtecs is a indigenous Mesoamerican people who resided in Mexico mainly, in that area. So Rick Owens' his father worked as an English to Spanish translator in the town called Porterville, which he also have a jacket name after that, Porterville. But anyway, his father worked as a translator, and he worked mostly with farmers and defending farmers' rights. That is why you see these UFW, United Farmers Worker Associations, on this collection. I will probably put up the look right now, or has been already. You can see, so on the women's collection, you can see the Aztec crown in look 1, 4, and 5, and like in way more looks. Just go look at the collection. And the crown was made by an artist named Wintercroft. And in men's collection, look 22, there's a shirt with pyramid print or detailing on the front. I don't know which pyramid, but you know, let's be honest, they all kind of look the same. Please don't come at me for that, but they do all look the same, you know. It's a fucking triangle. There's also sequins reference in this collection. The the sequin is in reference of the China Poblano. However, like, so there's like about 50 looks, and I believe 20% of it was dedicated to his heritage and, you know, yeah, his heritage with his Mexicanness. I hope that's PC. I hope so. I don't mean any ill intent, but like, yeah, he's talking about his heritage, and but it's only 20%, maximum 10% of the collection. If there are, like, let's say there are 50 looks. I don't know how many looks there are. I forgot. Let's say there are 50 looks in this collection. 10 of them or 15 of them are like in reference to his heritage, but the rest of it is still like Rick Owens pieces. Like, I'm putting up the photos right now. Like, I'm sure you're seeing it right now. You know, you get the Kiss boots, the Tattling coat, the Champion collab with the diaper button shirt thing. You know, the snap closure at the crotch, like those bodysuit that women wear as tank top and like they tuck it into their jeans or trousers. The Bauhaus trouser, the wide-legged trouser, the crop blazer, the Dylan t-shirt with the exaggerated V-necks, the shorts, you know, the shoes, the boots. Like, these are all the things that he has done before, but like he's doing it with different material, or maybe like twisting it a little bit with different color, with a different shape, adding something, removing something. But it's like it's his design language. Like, this collection, it references his older collection more so than anything. I will put a clip up right now.
Every new collection is just kind of a reflection of the one before it. So I'm kind of, you know, we've all looked at past designers, but I study my own stuff more than other people's, which is a terrible admission of some kind of ego, but it's, but anyway, yeah, that's how I kind of feel like I can make progress, by studying the mistakes and successes of my past.
Yeah, so his collection is always like in reference of his older collection, as he stated in that clip. There's a uniform light to it, but like not just one single uniform, but like there's multiple. But you know that it's like a Rick Owens piece. It's a Rick Owens outfit. It has a uniform-like design, but like he improves a little bit of it, you know, like add a little twist to it or add a little improvement, like, you know, whether it's material, whether it's like small nuances, like the shoulder, how prominent it is, the waist, like how cropped is it, stuff like that, you know, the detail, the sleeve, like the buttons, or the placement of the button even, or the placement of the zipper. It could be asymmetrical, it could be straight, it could be like zigzag, whatever, you know, whatever he can dream of. So let's talk about Undercover now. So with Undercover, Jun, he designs like a collection, typically after one idea, one band, one movie, one type of music. So with Rick Owens, he has like an idea or a reference, but like he only put like 20% of that into his runway, and then the other 80% is just like his usual stuff with slight improvement or, you know, like some nuance changes. But with Jun, with Undercover, like, I will later some example like in a second, but like he did like 90 to 100% of it, it will be designed around that one singular idea. It's going to be whatever references he has is going to be the whole collection, or if not all of it, it's going to be about that idea. So first, let's go through it. So for fall winter 2020, he designed it. The collection was the big inspiration for this collection was Throne of Blood. So the Throne of Blood is a Japanese classic from 1957, and this movie is an interpretation of Shakespeare Macbeth, but instead of medieval Scotland, it's feudal Japan. And so for fall winter 2019, this whole collection was in reference of A Clockwork Orange, which is also a Stanley Kubrick film. It's very iconic. Stanley Kubrick is one of Jun's like favorite filmmakers of all time, and A Clockwork Orange is like one of his favorite movies, or maybe, you know, he just watched it the day before he designed this. Who knows, you know. I don't have any collection. I'm just a kid in his bedroom making these videos. But let's look at some looks right now, so you can see like the references. Like, it's very clear. So I'll shut up for a bit and I'll run the clip right now. And for his fall winter 2018, it was a collaboration between him and the soloist. So for his part, for his collection, he decided to design this whole collection around the idea or around the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, also by Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, let's look at some looks right now. Maybe I'll put the video up, maybe I'll put the photo. And you know, with 2001, like Jun is also known to like, if he likes a frame from like a movie, he will literally just copy that and just put it on a garment. Like, you know, he is Undercover is more known for its streetwear aesthetic, and you know, with streetwear, there's a lot of like logo, slogan, patches, artwork. You know, but Rick Owens is more about shapes and material and like this idea that he's trying to present to us. But with Jun, it's more straightforward. It's easier to pinpoint his references. Whereas Rick, like, he doesn't really want you to see his references. Like he wants us to guess a little bit.
I don't like mood boards. A mood board would just explain too much to everybody. I don't want everybody to know what my composition is about and where my references came from. And also, I don't want a literal example of my references in front of me. I like kind of having references that are vague, that I kind of force myself to have to use just as a memory instead of a visual example.
And so for me, what I've managed to like pin it down to two words is that it's the idea of having a uniform and having a capsule collection. With Owens, you know exactly what to expect with minimal twists or improvements. But with Jun Takahashi, each collection is so drastically different than the last. Like there is like Jun Takahashi's design with each collection, but it just his references are so much easier to pinpoint and they're so much more prevalent that like you don't have to do a lot of guessing with it. It's like the moment you see like his 2001: A Space Odyssey collection, you know exactly that like he just watched this movie or it's one of his favorite movies as a child, and he's just like, I'm gonna make a collection about this movie, about one of my favorite films, and I want people who are interested in my work to wear this artwork that is in reference of one of my favorite films. Like it's a lot easier to pin Jun Takahashi down, but with Rick, you know, you really gotta like, put him in doggy style and just let's ask Tyrone. I bet Tyrone knows more than me. But anyway, or Michelle. Yeah, so again, uniform, capsule. And there's pros and cons to each of it. There's pros and cons to each idea. So for me, like I love Rick Owens. You can clearly tell by like 10,000 videos that I've made about Rick Owens. So like for me, it's very easy. So I know exactly what to expect. I can expect a better or a different improvement of like a similar jacket from this collection to the next collection. But if you hate Rick Owens, you're never gonna get into Rick Owens because like he's not gonna deviate from this design language too much. It just he knows what he wants to make and like he has an idea. Like it's a uniform idea. It's singular. But with Undercover, like you know, if you hate the collection, just wait until you see the next collection. It's gonna be completely different. However, the sad thing about being a fan of Undercover is that if you love a collection and you kind of want to see more, he's not going to design the same collection again. So it's like, it's so drastic. Okay, so a good example of this is, let's look at the collection Spring Summer 2020. This was honestly one of my favorite collections from him. I don't know why I said Hims. And one of my favorite collections overall is like, as much fashion as I know, and I don't know a lot, but I'm only interested in a few designers. Like, I don't check out every runway just to see what everybody's doing. I only check out designers that I like, you know, like J.W. Anderson, Chanel a little bit. I just want to see what Chanel's up to. Margiela, I want to see what John Galliano's doing. Who else do I check out? Marni, I like Marni. Joe Sander a little bit, but not too much. Sometimes it's a bit too boring for me. I like the Row, Tom Brown hand there, just because I think it's funny. It's fun, not funny. It's fun. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. So I love the fact that for Spring 2020, the majority of the collection is mainly in black. Like some of you may think like,
oh, that's so boring because everything's all black.
But then when you zoom in, like when you zoom in on each garment, you can see the intricate details. So for example, let's look at look number 5. Like from afar, it just looked like a simple black t-shirt. But then when you zoom in closer, you can see like the spider webbing design. Like it's not printed, it's like embellished or heat pleated into the garment itself. So like you really want to question like, how did the team do this? How did they came up with this technique? Look number 11, you know, like from afar it looks like a simple blazer, but then when you zoom in, Like you see the Nosferatu, and like, and you know, this collection was like a big departure from his streetwear influence heavy collections, like other collections. Like people still put Jun Takahashi into a box of like he's a streetwear designer. So like with this collection, like he focused more on the sartorial side. He focused more on the tailoring. He focused more on tailoring and material. If you're a fan of his streetwear work, you still get it. You know, the Cindy Sherman collab in this collection, it's tastefully done. Like I find that some of his other like really in your face streetwear stuff is like it's a bit too much for me. But the Cindy Sherman collab, like I felt like that was just like a good match, and it fits really well into this collection. And I don't know, I really love this collection. I wish I had more stuff from it. Like I wish I gotten this thing right here. I wish I gotten this thing, but it just I never got the chance to, never got into it. Anyway, it's fine. One day I'll own these pieces. You know, like Jun is one of the few designers that is like showing in Paris, and you know, for most of the fashion shows that shows in Paris or in Italy, in London, like they're not known streetwear. Like people just associate these designers as like high fashion designer. Like Undercover is one of the ones that's always get the streetwear like connotation next to it. And you know, with most streetwear brands, they don't really present at fashion runways. Like Babe, you know, they don't have runway shows. Stussy don't have runway shows. They just release things in capsules. So Undercover is one of the few, if not, yeah, I'm sure there are other like streetwear influence designer. But anyway, Undercover is like the main one that like whenever people talk about Undercover, they're like, it's a streetwear brand or it's a streetwear influence brand. And I think with this collection for 2020,
Jun is like, hey man, you know, like, I can do this sartorial shit. I can do this high fashion shit. Like, let's do this. You want to see what I can do? Here we go.
But then, like, if you love that collection, the collection that comes after it, which is the 2021, the fall winter 2021, it's completely different. It's the total opposite. Let's just have a look at the collection real quick, and then you can tell between 2020 and 2021, like how drastic it changed so quickly. You know, like the dichotomy between these two collections, it's just so drastic. I love the 2020 collection. I wish you had, you know, done another collection similar to it, but again, with Jun it's a bit more unpredictable. With Rick, you can sort of predict what he's gonna do with slight changes. Whereas Jun, like, he can completely switch from one idea to the next, and it just, I really love the 2020 collection. I wish he had done more. But okay, anyway, enough talking about Jun's Undercover collection. Let's move on. So, but yeah, again, with Rick Owens, it's easier to predict what's gonna come. You know, you will get items such as jacket with prominent or sharp shoulders. You can expect beautiful leather work. You can expect bomber jackets, down jackets, a bit of fur, blazer with tight arms, and you know, you can expect new shapes. You can expect new material on a product that you love from the previous collection already. You know, deconstructed denim. And you know, another idea is that Rick also rewards his consumers more so than Undercover. Like, for example, let's say you love the Kiss boots, right? So if you love the Kiss boots, he's gonna have them again next season in different color, different material. He kind of rewards you for like being a fan of him. If you love his Bauhaus trousers, you know, don't worry, he's gonna release them again in different color, different material. Like, he will reward you for being a consumer of his, for being in his audience. With Undercover, you can't really expect that from Jun Takahashi. I love the 2020, but I got nothing similar to 2020, like from the 2021 collection. So it's just the total opposite. With Jun's work, like you're obviously gonna get hoodies with print or slogans or like patches. Jun will reward you, but he rewards you in a sense that like, okay, you love this season graphic hoodie, you're gonna get another hoodie with different graphic next year. You're gonna get a down jacket with like, okay, so for his 2001 A Space Odyssey collection, he released this down jacket. And then for his what is it, the Cloud Orange, he released this down jacket. So like, close enough that like it feels like a reward for like missing out on this one, but it's like, but it's also different, you know what I mean? Like, but like he will reward you if you miss out on a down jacket. He'll release a down jacket again. Just different print or different shape on it. And you know, like there's no right or wrong answer here. Like if you want your favorite designers to always like go out of their box, like drastically out of their box, like if they're normally here, you want them to be here. Like Jun Takahashi Undercover, it's gonna be great for you. But if you want a uniform light wardrobe, like Rick Owens is a safer bet to go with, because like it's a bit easier to predict of what's to come, and like if you miss out on something, he'll release the same piece, different color, different material next season. Or if it's a big enough hit, he'll release the same one, you know? So as for me, as my taste in wardrobe has become a bit more refined, I can easily pinpoint what I like and don't like more. Like more so than most people who are experimenting. For me, I'm not really experimenting with colors or fabric anymore. Like I know what fabric feels good on me, and I know what colors I want. With regard to shapes, like I still experiment, but with only experimental shapes. But like, okay, if we're just talking about a t-shirt, I know what type of t-shirt I want. I want a bit boxy. I want the sleeve to be a bit long. So if it's too long, I can fold it. I don't like those t-shirts that have like really high sleeve or like short sleeve. You know what I'm talking about. I prefer my sleeve to be like somewhere here instead. If you're still experimenting, if you're still like early on in your fashion journey and you still want to like look into different designer, or if you enjoy having like a multitude of style in your wardrobe, Jun Takahashi is a really good brand to look into, because he will give you something dark one season and he'll give you something bright one season. He'll give you something streetwear heavy, and then he'll give you something a bit more sartorial. But yeah, I kind of just want to talk about that real quick, like the idea of like having a uniform and like releasing capsule-like collection. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this little conversation that we're having, or that we just had. Take it easy on yourself. My name's Makasy. Thank you very much for spending this much time with me today. Thank you. I will see you next week.